evening. Good evening and warm welcome to the All Arsenal Review Show. Yep, Ryan's done it again. Got in there and snuck that little song on. But you know what? I'll take it tonight. What a night last night, eh? What an absolute night. And we're going to be discussing all Arsenal Real Madrid. I think we can just leave the Everton game. Just leave the Everton game. Let's not talk about it. No point talking about it. We just go straight into Arsenal Real Madrid and kind of obviously evaluate the performance in general and where exactly us going to the Bernabeu next week. But before I do that, just want to say a warm welcome to my guest. So obviously tonight, Mr. Brooks is not here. He is adventuring in the Isle of Wight at the moment, so I'm sure he's sinking down a few beers. So I hope he's enjoying himself. He will be back next week. But obviously, I've got three beautiful gentlemen beside me tonight. So firstly, a warm welcome to Ryan. How you doing, mate?
Yes, really, really good. I had a really good day. Enjoyed it. Still a bit surreal what happened last night. Still feels like a pinch myself moment, but I'm happy. We're 3-0 up. What's to complain about?
Absolutely nothing to complain about after last night. And yeah, we're going to talk a lot more about it. But I'll tell you one thing I am looking forward to tonight, right? Is I'm hoping my mate Gav turns up tonight.
Same here.
So if everyone doesn't know, Gav, and I'm going to put this in quite a direct way, Gav screwed Gav. So like when you hear Brett screwed Brett in the wrestling terms, Gav screwed Gav. So Gav got a bit ahead of the game before the Arsenal versus Real Madrid, and he delivered a message in the group when we was in here saying he was so confident that Arsenal will not beat Real Madrid that if it does happen, he's going to wear an Arsenal shirt. Oh, it don't look too good.
By the way.
It don't look too good. Gav screwed Gav. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to move on. Going to go over to Sparksy. How you doing, mate? Yep, you was with me last night, and a few drinks sunk in celebration.
Yeah. We sung a bit, we drunk a bit, got screwed a bit, but all in all worth it. So yeah, absolutely made up, and yeah, I kind of still can't believe it, to be honest.
Yeah,
bit mad. I expected a 2-1. I mean, as I said to you in the pub, you were a lot more confident than I was, but yeah, unreal, absolutely unreal.
Yeah, definitely. And we will go into that discussion very soon. Well, it's a bit of a half I can see Mr. Jones and a half I can't see Mr. Jones. He's coming in, he's going out. But how are you? How are you, Jonathan? I'm guessing you're on cloud nine as well. No, we haven't got him. Well, I think there must be some connection problems there, so hopefully we'll have him soon. But yeah, let's move into obviously yesterday's game, Champions League quarterfinals, and just as on that note, guys, Aston Villa are 1-0 up in PSG.
Our future king is very happy.
Yeah. Pardon?
Our future king is there, and he's very happy.
Yeah. I bet he's very happy. But so there's a turn up for the books. But yeah, just go back into it. So yeah, 8 o'clock. Obviously, we were playing the best team in the world in Real Madrid, the 15 times Champions League winners. But there's one thing about Real Madrid versus Arsenal, and that is that Real Madrid have not actually scored a goal against Arsenal prior to yesterday's game in 2 attempts, and it was going to need an absolute massive performance to obviously kind of continue that, but also get the goals needed to go to the Bernabeu with some confidence of obviously progressing to the next stages. And boy, did we do that. 3-0. But before we go into that, I'm just going to go into obviously the lineups and the selections. I'm just going to go to you, Ryan, quickly. Any surprises for you within the lineup?
In the grand scheme of things, not really, because like I said it last night in the watch along. Like, ideally, would have preferred Ben White at right back and Timber to drop in the centre back for where Kivior is. But I understand why, because Ben White's only played one game. That was obviously Everton at the weekend. This is a big game to come into after only playing one game in how many months he's been out for. Yep. So apart from that, I think everyone sort of came in and looking at our midfield. The midfield trio, Partey, Rice, and other guys. We can all say it's probably our strongest starting midfield trio. available on any day, in a fully fit squad and all that. The attack, it writes itself at the moment because of, especially with Moreno up top. Saka obviously coming back, making a start, by the way. After bleeding himself in for 2 games. Martinelli on the left-hand side. I mean, and then, as I say, Trostler's on the bench. I mean, there's nothing really, as you say, there's nothing really shocking in that 11, really. Like when you deep it, like you think about it, like Kivior, like you say, would in a normal circumstance maybe you'd rather someone else, but it is got to give him his credit. Last night he did a good job as well. So I can't really say. Looking at 11, when you use logic, sorry, pardon me. That's probably our strongest 11 we could have fielded, really. In the circumstance.
No, I totally agree. I think for me, the biggest selection was going to be: did he play Kivior at left centre back, or did he trust Ben White that he's had the minutes? And obviously, I think there's two factors here. I think because Kivior is the left centre back, I think that's why he wanted him there, and I don't think he wants to move William Saliba out of right centre back. But I also think that Kivior obviously had a really good game at Everton, didn't he? And I just feel that obviously he was encouraged by that performance and kind of didn't want to kind of rotate it as such in terms of this game and just chuck Ben in where Ben and William haven't really played together, really, as centre back partners. So. And the decision paid off. I thought, apart from that really, really early, and I wouldn't say it was a mistake. It was just obviously the ball went past Kivior. I thought, apart from that, I thought he was absolutely superb. I think we're getting told it's 1-1 now at PSG. The goal hasn't come here yet. Do you know who scored it?
I'm about to see it any second now.
I think it's.
Oh my God! Wow.
It's Dewey.
Wow.
Oh,
Martinez just saved one off the line as well.
Just before that, and then literally
right on the line.
And he's, as I say, Martinez, who usually dives, rooted to the spot, and he's not looking impressed with himself. You'll see it in a second.
It doesn't matter if he dives to that.
No.
Absolute incredible strike.
I think things are happy now.
Yeah, but going back to the Kivior, I thought he had a really good game again, and I was really encouraged in terms of his performance. And I thought the back line done really well, all in all. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There were certain aspects in the first half where, if Real Madrid had done better with their final ball, they might have been able to test us a little bit more. But overall, especially in the first half, Sparksy, I thought we defended really well as a team, and that we kept possession. I thought one of the things that we did do really well was keep possession of the ball, and cause hassle for them in their final third.
Yeah, mostly due to Partey and Rice, so they were absolutely immense. And Lewis Skelly basically turning everything around and just dribbling with the ball, being an actual ball carrier. But I think in the first few minutes, Saka did a misplaced pass. Could have really gone anywhere, could have struggled. But we survived that one. And there was a couple of moments from Kivior, but there was nothing groundbreaking. It was basically, a decent night for everybody. Martinelli has picked up form as well, so he was basically carrying forwards as well. So I think it worked really well, so that we were running away from our own goal and not trying to labour and keep the ball right on our box like we've done so many times in the past.
Do you feel like yesterday, like the team come of age? I just felt the maturity of the performance. Do you know what I mean? Like when I look at the Bayern Munich game last year, we was just a little bit erratic at times. Do you know what I mean? And I think we did let the kind of pressure get to us, especially when obviously we didn't take the second goal. I just felt yesterday like the goals, all 3 of them. But I just felt that the professionalism of that performance was a team coming of age. And when you start equating the amount of injuries that we have factored in with that, and we've got a makeshift striker up front, I just thought like yesterday was an incredible performance by so many players.
Yeah, it was difficult to pick out a bad player, really, wasn't it? It was that kind of performance, and Ødegaard stepped up. I mean, didn't do anything outstanding as such, but he was a bit more efficient than he'd been in previous occasions as well. So I just think everybody kind of stepped up to the occasion. Everybody kind of, like you said, had a bit more of mentality to do their job efficiently, but. Yeah, the two generals in midfield, it was just ridiculous what they were doing in midfield, just cleaning everything up. Partey had a game of his life, and Rice did too. But outside of the free kicks as well, with Rice, he was progressing the ball really well, basically taking on opponents and basically keeping the ball where he didn't have to do that. So I like the fact that. That Martinelli stood out on the wing and basically gave an option, so that all the play was like quite narrow. But Martinelli made himself a nuisance by being out there.
Yeah,
and he was basically quite direct, like we've seen him so many times before, but just not seen it recently. So it's good to see that that's kind of back in his game as well.
Just a quick one. Obviously Gab's in the chat now. How you doing, mate? Probably a little bit of a painful one for you last night. And yeah, the bar is back open for trade. The Jaeger's in here. I'm still saying, well, I'm probably trying to keep myself up at this moment in time, if I'm being totally honest. With the Red Bull Jaeger. But yeah, it's not looking too great for you, mate, at the moment. I can see you wearing a different shirt maybe in a week or so time. Maybe. Not.
Who just got support?
Chelsea.
I'm Chelsea.
Oh dear.
He went bold. He went balls on the table basically straight from the off, and he started panicking basically and trying to get us involved in it all.
Oh, bless him.
got another message.
That feels a little bit silly now, doesn't he?
I'd say so. Just got another something else in the chat. Obviously, next season, and this was the other aspect of our win last night, which is guaranteed an additional space into Europe next year for the 5 teams, isn't it? So yeah, you're welcome to whoever finishes 5th in the league. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you can actually have 11 teams in Europe.
Yeah, which when you look at it, is brilliant for the Premier League, isn't it? Like, it's madness that we could have up to 7 teams in the Champions League next year. If obviously either United or Tottenham won the UEFA Cup, if Arsenal or Aston Villa won the Champions League, do you know what I mean? It's absolute madness in terms of how that could kind of materialise. And I think what the good thing is as well is obviously the UEFA Cup spaces then go down to the lower teams, don't they? And like one thing I'm noticing, especially with teams like Aston Villa, actually, our league is so far ahead in it in terms of like the quality and the caliber. Like you've got Aston Villa that are sitting 6th at the moment with a great chance potentially of getting to a semi-final of Champions League. So I think it'd be interesting next year if Forest made it, see where they would kind of materialise in it. So yeah, it's really good. I like it. I think it's really positive for the Premier League, and yeah, long may it continue. But obviously, another conversation in the chat, and there's something I'll go to Ryan about. And I thought he was absolutely superb all game, right? And the biggest compliment I can pay him, right? And I'm going to talk about Miles Lewis-Skelly again. Is his composure in the final third. Like, we know how good he is in 13. We know how good he is on, like, with the calmness on the ball, being able to play a ball forward. He's a very positive player. But what we're seeing from his game as well, and for an 18-year-old, I think it's absolutely insane, is firstly, he's getting assists to his game, but he's so composed even in the box. Like, you look at his goal against Man City and how well he took that. You look at the ball he put across to Marino last night, and you look at some of the other aspects of his game on yesterday and running up to this game. I don't know where the barrier is for Skelly at the moment, and I don't know where his final. No, I don't know where his final position is going to be. I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere in that midfield because he's too good not to be to play in that midfield. But this is insane from an 18-year-old, isn't it?
For his debut season as well. Let's not forget this. Yeah. In the debut season, it wasn't technically meant to be his debut season. It just fell onto him to become. He was only meant to be a part of the squad in terms of just there on the bench, basically, like bench warming. But an opportunity arose because of injuries at fullback at start of the season, shock horror. He was given an opportunity and he grabbed it. Unlike a certain other player we had who again came from academy, was a midfielder under Arsene Wenger, was being trialed at a fullback. Then whenever managers came in, went, no, I want to play midfield. I want to play midfield. And look where he is now. Well, we don't know where he is now. I think he's Lyon now, but even then you don't hear much of him. In Ainsley Martin-Knowles, this is a complete contrast. And for what's turned out to be his debut season, he's, for the most part, not just seized the opportunity, but he's shown a level of maturity as well. And he doesn't seem to be phased by the opponent, no matter who they are. Obviously, Man City, he had Man City, the Emirates, Liverpool, at the Emirates, be it Chelsea in the London Derby, United, North London Derbies. He doesn't do, and obviously last night, probably the biggest test so far in his young career, the current European champions in Real Madrid. He just didn't seem phased at all. He just treats it like a normal everyday game for him. And it's the fact that he gets the ball. As I say, he's not getting phased, and he just he runs. He literally he had no fear of running that mid defense yesterday, and he thrived off it. And I'm all for it. Long may to continue in terms of obviously his overall position. Well, that could be interesting, isn't it? Because obviously he inverts the way he inverts the way. I'd say I want Zinchenko to invert, but better. But it's just the benefit of having a kid that is a midfielder. It doesn't, in terms of his natural, that's what his position was from the academy. It's not a second thing he has to learn. The thing he has to learn is playing left back. But even that, he's not doing a bad job there. It's going to be interesting because obviously Tommy Tuchel is clearly picked him in the squad to be his left back. So something's going to have to be discussed over the next couple of months in the off season about with Arteta where his position is going to lie basically long term. Because long term, I don't know. I think long term midfield, but again, we talk about a literal kid.
This is the interesting thing, isn't it? This is the interesting thing because, like you said, like he's now done the left back spot. Good and proper for both. And I don't expect you to say this, but I think for both club and country at the moment, like Tommy Tuchel played him in the first two games. He's obviously already stated in doing that he sees the future in terms of Mo Lewis Skelly. Do we look at it that he does stay at left back, but he gives us that additional, doesn't he? He gives us that additional of
extra body.
What he, because what other left back can offer what he can offer? That's what you got to ask yourself, right? What other left back can offer what he can offer? And there's no one at the moment that I can think of that do you know what I mean? That could do it to a level that he's doing it. And it's absolutely insane that I'm sitting here and talking about that about an 18-year-old. And like you said, this is a guy here, right, that come on against Liverpool. You'd have never said at the time, if someone said to me at the time, do you know what, in 6 months' time, right, he's going to be running out against Real Madrid at home on playing left back. He's going to have already played 2 games for England, scoring on his debut. And like literally, he's scored against like the English champions in Manchester City. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a guy that has just literally taken the opportunity that's been given to him. And I just think it's incredible that what's being asked of him, that he's delivering on a consistent basis. Now, he's got good people in that squad around him. Unbelievably, like I think the likes of Declan Rice, Saka, even likes of Jorginho, do you know what I mean? He's got good players that he can go to, and do you know what I mean? Like they'll calm him down and they'll do the right things in terms of kind of manage his expectations. But I just think it's a very unique situation with him because you look at all the qualities and you think this guy's got to play centre midfield long term. He has to play centre midfield. But it's going to be tricky, isn't it? Because if he's so good at that left back role, but then can do what he's doing in midfield anyway and give you that addition in midfield, then do you change the position? I don't know. What do you think, Sparksy?
Well, the other thing you got to consider is what Tuchel wants to do with him. Then, does he then lose his position because he's got more midfield options than left back options? Because obviously England doesn't have great left back options. There's obviously Lewis Hall that's kind of there, and they both get in the squad, don't they? But they both offer something pretty different. So obviously Lewis Hall can be a bit more direct, a bit like the Tierney style that we have, and then Lewis Skelly basically comes in and he inverts and packs it up in midfield, and he's an extra driving force. So it's difficult, isn't it? Because if you ask him to change his position, but it's going to cost him his England place, then it's obviously difficult. But one thing I will note as well when he's come through, he's actually overtaken Ethan Ranieri. So we all thought Ranieri was the player that was ahead, and he's actually proven, Lewis Skelly's proven that he's actually ahead. You know, he's made himself undroppable really in the big games.
Yeah.
You know, he's made that position his own. So the fact that you already utilise him in midfield anyway, why then put him in midfield to put somebody else in behind him to play a different way? I don't really understand why you'd do that, but he just offers so much from that position.
Yeah,
and you know, Calafiori does the same thing, but he's just a lot more direct with it, and I don't think he has the same element of control that Lewis Skelly does.
And that's the big thing, isn't it? Like, I think with Lewis Skelly compared to Calafiori, which I think you've kind of summarised that pretty well, is it's the control piece, isn't it? Like, Skelly will control the situation. He'll control the ball, where you think at times a little bit that Calafiori can be a little bit potentially erratic. Do you know what I mean? And I think obviously he's adapting to English football, English culture as well. And he is very young, but I think it'd be interesting with Calafiori what kind of happens with him longer term, because I think obviously it's not helped him out as it being injured now, because he could have potentially got the opportunities played left centre back, which Kivior is kind of taken at the moment. So I think like when you look at the Calafiori signing, it was a good signing at the time, wasn't it? But like literally, Skelly's overtaken that position straight away. But I'm still not brought that Calafiori was brought in to play left back long term.
I don't think he was.
No, I don't think so. I think he is brought in to play centre back.
He was supposed to be Gabriel cover.
Pardon?
I think he was supposed to be Gabriel cover. And,
yeah.
And he got forced into left back because we had nobody else. When he actually came in, we had nobody else. And we ended up playing Partey at right back and him at left back because we didn't have anybody. So it was just a role that was kind of pushed in. So we kind of looking at it and going, well, he's erratic at the left back. Well, maybe he is, but I don't think that was where he's supposed to play.
No,
and,
definitely.
I think he's as a centre back. Not that we've actually seen it. I've seen it in a couple of games in Serie A, but. Yeah, he's quite progressive from centre back, but he did spend a lot of time playing left back as well over in Serie A. But I think he was just brought in to cover centre back.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think I do want to see him kind of play centre back to see what he kind of offer us, because where he plays for his nation, isn't it? Centre back, it was where he's playing for his kind of team. So I think longer term it will be good. Like. Looking back, Ryan, as well, in terms of kind of that first half performance, the one player that I thought, and even in the second half of like 70 minutes, who just carried on driving forward, carried on asking the questions, was our boy Wonder, by Bukayo Saka again. And I actually, when I watched the game back today, I didn't realise how good he was in that game yesterday. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a player that we're talking to come back from a 4-month injury, like last week. He scored, obviously, in his comeback game. He then got another 45 minutes on Saturday against Everton. But to deliver that performance on that against the best team in the world, and like when you look at it, the reason we like obviously Rice's brilliance got us the 2 goals, but Saka won both them free kicks. He kept asking the questions. He kept driving across them. They couldn't handle him, could they? Like this guy is now like I looked at him when I was watching him on TV today. He's not a kid no more.
No,
I'm starting to look at him as a man.
No, again, 100%. And like you say, look, this is just cover up what you just said. Like 4 months, we haven't seen him since Palace until last week. Palace away. This is his first. Last night was his first start in 4 months, in over 4 months, whatever it's been. It's ridiculous the levels he's got to, and what a game, and not even a game in a bit. What? It's like, yeah, half 45. 60, 75 minutes overall over the 2 games previous, give or take. Then to come in if your 3rd game back after that long out, knowing how intense and the level he's got to be at, he didn't seem, again, like we say about Ainsley, Miles, he didn't seem phased. He's like, it was the way he played last night is like he hadn't been out. He's been playing all season. Like he hasn't been out injured. He has been constantly like he'll do week in, week out, game in, game out. And considering his the side he was attacking defense wise had a natural fullback and defender in terms of Rudiger to go up against, compared to what Martinelli had to go up against as well on the other side, where it was 2 midfielders on the other side of that defense. No, but him and Odegaard just is. They gel. It's like the gel, the link, the psyche they have between each other just clicked straight from the off yesterday. And it's fantastic. It's great to see from our point of view, because that's like the fear was, especially for hamstring injury and having the operation and everything they had to go through, it would take a bit of time for him to get back in the swing of things. Last night's rammed home. He won't need too much time. Still, don't overdo it. Game managing as well. But when you needed to play long minutes, he looks like he's able to do it. More than happy to do it, and he's not, because again, considering it's an hamstring, he's not afraid to go full pelt at defence when needed.
I think it's an interesting one with Saka, isn't it? Like I'm already looking ahead to Saturday, and I'm thinking, I'll be honest, I'm personally thinking Saturday that you kind of rest Saka and just if you need to bring him on with 20 minutes to go, half hour to go, then do it. If you don't need to do it, then don't do it. Like that's probably my kind of mind process against most of the team. Now that can be risky because we know Brentford are a good side and all that, but surely we got to prioritise for Wednesday. Do you know what I mean? Like we still got a little bit of money in the bank in terms of like this is a weird situation, isn't it? Because even though we should be at the title race, we're not actually out of it at this moment of time. Even though we are virtually on that border. But until we're out of it, we're not out of it. So it's how we kind of manages that Saturday. But I think we'll pretty much see a kind of Everton selection on Saturday. Yeah. In terms, I think one area definitely start in front of Saka on Saturday. And I think he'll probably bring Saka on at night. Like looking at BX Gunner saying Ethan's got a key role to play in Champions League. I think he has. But I think what you're going to see is I think he's going to have a key role to play in the Premier League.
Well, because you get more minutes Premier League,
yeah, I think you will. Because I think what we'll do, we'll try and protect Saka as such, and it's the right thing to do. Because what you want to do is make sure that we can't afford to get no more injuries in terms of key players. So and
that's what.
Even Saturday, I tell you which will be an interesting one. William Saliba. Now, personally, I'd play Ben White Saturday centre back because we cannot afford for Saliba to get injured for love or money.
No. Well, again, it also gives Ben White minutes. We know Ben White needs minutes. That's the reason why he didn't get the start. I know he came on in the end to get some more minutes, but that's the reason. That's the main reason I think he didn't start, because he didn't have enough minutes in his legs in the first place. So we don't want to risk it. And we're giving Saka his fruits, but like you say, it's game management. It's in terms of. Yeah, it's fantastic. He did what he did last night. He's done for the last couple of games back. But let's not get too carried away and just and do make the mistakes of the past, and just go 90 minutes, because then you know what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen, and then we'll screw ourselves even more.
I don't think we need to do that no more, do they?
No,
with one area's emergence, I don't think I think now.
I was about to say
we never need to do that.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, literally with the blessing. In one sense, it has been a blessing in terms of Saka being injured. In a sense of it's allowed Wanyeri to have that game time and show to Arteta he can put a shift in as well. He can do what he needs to, what he's asked from when called upon. If needed, rotate. You don't have to overwork him now. I can come in and my levels will be up with Saka basically. The drop off won't be the same like it was, with all due respect to Reece Nelson. You knew if Reece Nelson was coming in, with all due respect, the levels were dropping compared to what Saka can bring.
Yeah.
Whereas Reece Nelson's got that hunger, that drive, and obviously just turned 18 as well. Like we're talking about, I'm saying Ainsley for Miles Lewis-Skelly. He's got that hunger, that desire. And again, we all talk about Miles Lewis-Skelly. This is his debut. This was meant to be Ethan's debut season. This was meant to be Ethan's season. But obviously he's got the game time eventually. But yeah, and it's like he's given that question to Arteta now. He's given him an option. We as fans now know we don't have to overplay Saka. We can rotate him.
I think an interesting one from Rich Hollick Guna, and one that I've kind of said that I'd like to see at some point. Not sure we'll see it this year. I know we can rotate Saka, but would Ethan not work in the middle instead of Marino? I think he can play that role. I think longer term, I think like one area, he's either going to be a central forward or that kind of Odegaard role. I think he can play both roles, to be fair, because he's got all the qualities and the attributes to play both roles. So it's one that I would definitely like to see, but I don't think it's one we're going to see pretty soon. And I think it'd be one that probably might have evolved like in the next couple of seasons. Yeah. But I definitely think that potentially he's got the attributes to play that role. And like you see Marino last night, I just want to go on to Marino and go with Juice Sparksy. You was live at that game. I just thought he was really intelligent last night, mate, in terms of the way his game played, the link-up play. This is a guy, right, that's come into an emergency situation of having to play central striker, Juice, Havertz, and Jesus. And I think the biggest compliment I can give him at the moment is no one's talking about Havertz. No one's talking about Havertz whatsoever. And he's picking up goals on the way. Do you know what I mean? He's picking up goals that I actually sit there and think, do you know what? The Havertz wouldn't have scored that. I don't think Havertz scores that goal last night. That goal he scores. Absolutely world-class finish. I didn't realise how good it was till I see it today. Like, he's just picking up more and more confidence game by game. And I really enjoyed last night seeing him dropping into midfield positions, picking up the ball, releasing it, but then having the hunger to get into the box. And if you look at his third goal, that's what he does. He drops into midfield, he picks up the ball, he plays it out, and then he's on the edge of the box waiting. And he's another option for us now moving forwards. Do you know what I mean? Coming out of this season, like he can play left centre mid, he can play probably defensive mid if he needed to be. But he's now an option as a secondary striker in games, especially later on in games. And he's got the ability to grab you a goal.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't see Ethan playing as up as a striker anymore. He likes that big presence. He likes a bit of a hold up play, a bit of a knock on, a bit of a knock down, and a bit of a bully off. PSG 2-1.
You've seen that.
It's a bit of a bully off and a bit of just holding the ground and just being a nuisance.
Sorry, Sparks. Watch that goal, mate.
Mad, isn't it?
Jesus Christ, they've hit 2 worldies.
The play through as well.
He's a baller, though, isn't he? He's an absolute baller, this guy.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, mate.
No, it's right. I'm rewatching it. That is something.
Sorry, audience.
Well, we're here for football, and football's on. So, you know, if they don't understand that, then
oh no, I'm sorry.
Why did Napoli let him go halfway through a season? I don't know.
You know, we've been a news channel as well, so you know what else can you say, really? But yeah, I don't think Ethan will end up as a striker at all. To be honest, he'll end up with covering the Odegaard role or covering Saka, and both maybe. I don't know exactly, but yeah, it's mad that like Ryan said that you know, it was supposed to be Ethan's breakthrough season, and basically Lewis Skelly's basically stolen it. So, you know, and that's what we're saying. It was supposed to happen, and it's literally just flipped on a head. But Marino as well has shown he's really capable from corner kicks. Is that presence from in the actual box, doing whatever. But I can't remember if I said it to you last night. I don't know if there's any other strikers in the league right now who guarantee to score that goal.
Yeah, no, you did say that to me last night.
Yeah, there's two players for me that both used to play in the Premier League that can guarantee scoring that. And that's Lukaku and Giroud.
Yeah.
They're the only two strikers I almost categorically guarantee that they go in. 9 out of 10, I'd say go in.
Yeah,
even Havertz there. Havertz there, I think it's a 50-50.
The other good thing as well, isn't it, with him, is that he's got that midfield tendency as well. Do you know what I mean? So when you want him back for set pieces, when you want him to defend situations, we've got that ability now where you've got that additional midfielder on top that can do that. Well, he did the
pre-assist for the Everton game as well, didn't he? So that was kind of a, you know, he basically broke the play up to head the ball out so that they can get breakaway in the Everton game. So when he played in midfield, so I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. To be honest with you, you know, I think a lot of people sleep on him. To be honest, and purely because we got him instead of getting a striker.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Like people did when the signing happened, we knew we had a midfielder, but let's be honest, it's not the glamour signing that everyone wanted. But we're talking about a guy that's a European Championship winner for his national team. He come into the club and got injured in his first training session, which obviously derailed him as such, didn't it, to start with? But I was speaking to Joel today, Ryan, funny enough, and he said a really good thing about kind of he said a good thing about Marino, and he says what he sees from him, he's a leader as well. Like, and when I was watching him yesterday, he's really right what he says. Like, he leads by example. He leads, like, you can tell that he's growing in that confidence, and you can see everything's coming out of him. And I just think it was a really, really shrewd signing, if I'm being totally honest. Yeah, like we've got all these glamour players, do you know what I mean? We like your Declan Rices, your Thomas Parteys, but this is a guy who he come in as a dual monster, do you know what I mean? So this is a guy who comes in motivated. This is a guy who, if you give him a task, he wants to do the best he can do with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if you said to him, you're playing left back, he'll probably in his head thinking, I need to do it better than the left back that's here. And I think that's what his mentality is. And I think he's a bit of a mentality monster, if I'm being honest. Like, I think he's one of them players that whatever task you give him, he will want to do it to the best of his ability, and he'll want to learn. And I think that's a really good trait to have. And when you're a player that's 28, 29, that's not always easy to evolve and do that kind of role. Do you know what I mean? And do that kind of position.
So that comment that you got there from BX Gunner.
Yeah.
Put that comment up.
Yeah, I'll do it one sec. There you go.
I completely disagree with that. Completely. I think in the first few games, he turned like a truck. He literally turned like a truck, but obviously obviously his shoulder injury was still there, and he was probably pushed in there a little bit sooner than he needed to be. He needed to build a bit of more adaptation to the Premier League, and his confidence wasn't there. So I think that's all it was. I look at him now, and if he's facing goal, I think he's the most confident to turn us round facing the opposition goal and getting out than anybody else in midfield, to be honest with you. So I completely disagree with that at all.
Another player I want to kind of obviously mention yesterday, who I thought had a stunning game, and one that will be quite a good topic for conversation. Obviously, Thomas Partey. We know that his contract runs out in the summer. Going back over to you, Ryan. Do you offer him another contract? Do you offer him another 2-year deal potentially? I think we have to keep him. I think it's a big thing losing both Jorginho and Thomas Partey in the first season, and we're relying on Subomendi to come in and just hit the ground running.
Yeah, I mean, for squad depth, yeah, give him a 2-year just give him a 2-year contract. Sort of vault that as it is, 2 year with an option of a third if he has to meet targets X, Y, and Z to activate the 3rd year. But give him a 2-year deal. And as I say, it gives Zuckerman the chance to initially come in, settle in, adapt to the league. Because again, like we're saying about Mikel Moreno, yeah, he's been in the Premier League before, but look how long ago it was when he was in the Premier League at Newcastle. He's been in another league, completely different in terms of physicality, in terms of all the demands obviously the league brings and what the Premier League bring are completely different. So obviously Moreno's had to readapt again, and we're starting to see him, especially now with obviously he's having to play the way in the position he has been since January. That adapting is coming in terms of readapting to the English game and what's expected, basically, not just as a dual monster, but as in general. If anything, playing him up top the way we have been has been a blessing, because he's just been allowed to. Because he's not a striker, there's no pressure on him, and with the fact that in that Leicester game we covered it in the interview on the pitch, he said that he only learnt about that the day before the game. Came back from international break and he was like, because of Dubai and all that, came back. And on the Friday, the day before the Leicester game, was told, oh, by the way, we want to try this. Would you be okay with trying it? He said, he just went, yeah, no problem. His words actually were, if I can do anything to help this team, I will. And that goes back to what you say about if you asked him to play left back or right back or this, that, and the other. It seems like he'd be more than happy to adapt. And again, we know Arteta loves a player that can be versatile and adapt and do what Mikel Moreno does. There's a reason why most of our squad are versatile players that can play multiple positions. But you've got someone that's in his, as I say, late 20s, pushing to his 30s now.
Sorry,
That's not an easy. That's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not fair play to him. Absolutely fair play to him. And then again, last night, to play a striker, again, no matter what we think, no matter what we're about to say about the Madrid defence yesterday, he still had to do a job, and he did a job. And that's all we can ask of him to do in terms of doing that job. Oh, 1 second, I've seen it now on the counter attack PSG.
Mad that.
Oh. They look really dangerous, don't they, on the counter attack?
Oh, absolutely.
I think. Do you know what though? I look at us and I think I look at the way we
can adapt
now.
to it. We can stifle them.
Yeah,
we wouldn't play like this. We wouldn't play like this. We don't play like this.
No.
Because they're literally parking the bus and trying to just counter each other.
Yeah.
But now they've got no control over the game whatsoever, and we control them in field.
Yeah.
This is the thing, though, isn't it? Like when we've heard managers, I think even Ancelotti come out of it and said that Arsenal are one of the most complete teams in the Premier League. In the world football at the moment, PSG managers come out, obviously spoke highly about us. I think the potential is kind of scary when we go into the summer, and this is one of the things that I kind of said earlier on when I was on X, that the world would have been watching that game yesterday. Let's not make no doubts about it. The whole world would have been watching that game yesterday. And if you're a player who watches that Arsenal performance and just seen us destroy Real Madrid 3-0, if you're a player with ambition, if you're a player that thinks that, do you know what, I can get to that ability, or I am at that ability, like that performance last night could be kind of landscaping, game changing for us. Do you know what I mean? Like players will sit there and want to come to the club. Do you know what I mean? But we've just beaten Real Madrid 3-0. We just produced a performance like that. They've seen how electric the atmosphere was at the Emirates last night. This is a totally contrast to what we've had over the last 15 years in terms of the pain, in terms of the atmosphere, in terms of the kind of the slow demise of us and such. Do you know what I mean? And I just sit here now and think, we're in a really, really good position going into the summer, like really, really good position. And hopefully we see the job through at the Bernabeu. Do you know what I mean? There's still a lot to do, mate. Like it's not get it mixed up. This team can score 3 goals just like that. So we're going to have to go there and put in a complete performance again. But if you're a player now, even a like of an Isak, you know what I mean? I'm not saying just using his name at the moment. Why would these players not want to come to us now? Why? Like you've got top class managers saying, "Look, this team's one of the most complete teams in the world. They can adapt to anything." You look at the striker situation. If you're a striker, you're thinking, "I can make them the Premier League champions now.
Yeah,
I can make them the best team in the country. I can make them one of the best teams in Europe." Do you know what I mean? I can take them to the next step. Like, it's not like 4 or 5 years ago where we needed 8, 9, 10 players.
Just to get us top 4.
Yeah. We're in a situation where we
I think that what Ryan just said there is the difference, right? Because we do need 4 or 5 players, but we need 4 and 5 players to compete on all fronts, not just compete in the Premier League and then do a couple of cup games and then we're out of everything like we have been before. We have got the rotation now. All right, we've suffered with injuries, but that's kind of all happened like on the back of each other and everything like that. And surely we've got to be a proposition that if the board want to bring the players in, that they want to come here. They want to revel in what's being created, because as much as people put it down, you know, it's bloody good. It's a good team. It's a good squad, and the togetherness is there for everybody to see. And the only thing missing now is that silverware.
Yeah. But the whole club, like Liam just said, the whole club is not just the players and the manager and all that. The entire club's putting in the right direction. So from the ownership down, the strive is to get us to win the league, Champions League.
Well, that's up for debate, though, isn't it? Because obviously we've gone through other transfer windows that we haven't brought in those players that we need. So you know, someone will tell us that, wouldn't it?
Or something. For me, I think what is a big something, because obviously Andrea Berta, the fact that he's come in, where he's come from previously, just recent, surely he would have done his due diligence of all the options he could have had. So it's a big summer. If we have a good summer, it's down to obviously him being given the reins to do what he wants. And what we're hearing so far, since we've officially announced it, is he's picking out players. He's going to said players, having meetings in terms of their agents and all that. There's only the last couple of days. There's talk of Gorka is on board for the Arsenal project now because of Berta.
Yeah, but again, why wasn't that done last summer?
Because clearly Eddie wasn't doing his job. Eddie was trying to, as I said when he announced he was leaving, and we started getting drip fed bits and pieces from last summer. Clearly, he wasn't happy that Richard Garlick got a promotion over him. He started throwing his toys at his plan behind the scenes, and with that was distracted. Hence, why we ended up with players like Sterling on deadline day, and not what we needed. Obviously, this is a big indication now.
Yeah, exactly. This is the point.
This time it's a big indication if that was the case or not.
Yeah, because obviously with Edu gone, if it still doesn't happen, although I think it's going to mask a little bit anyway, because Berta's not coming in if he's not going to have money to spend anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of masked whether it's Edu or whether it was the board in the first place.
It's a consistency from here on in as well. It's not just some of the start of it, but it's in maintaining it in the right way, just the right levels to keep the squad ticking over.
Yeah, but this one's the most crucial one, right? Because you know, this is the getting over the line one.
Yeah,
I think with Edu as well, and like Berto, I think this is the piece as well that I'm looking at. And Edu, let's give him his flowers. Edu was a good choice at the time with where we were. Do you know what I mean? We always need to remember where we were. And we weren't in a great place when Edu kind of taken over, and he'd done a really good job. But as you see with football, it evolves. And I just think Edu had his time, if I'm being totally honest. I'm not sure Edu could get the deals over the line that he wanted to do, or what the club wanted to do. I'm not sure he could.
Well, Griberes is a perfect example of that anyway.
I don't think he could. And I think this is another stage now where you see us upgrading. Do you know what I mean? So we've upgraded from obviously Edu to a guy who's been in his role for a long, long time, who's got a lot of respect, especially across Spain, probably across the world of football, in terms of the kind of players that he's brought in, the players he's been able to attract in. And he's got a good track record of players that he's brought into kind of Atletico Madrid. And do you know what I mean? So I do think that this is an upgrade. And I do think as well, right? And look, if last summer was disastrous, when you're bringing in Neto and Sterling on transfer deadline day, and you look back at it, you just think, what a load of shit that was. It was an absolute load of shit. And it probably cost us, to be fair, getting a loan signing in January. Because we did need to get someone in. And I think if we'd had that as failability of a loan signing, we would have made a signing potentially. But I just look at it going forward and I think, do you know what? I think now, right, and it's easier than hindsight. I think it's probably good we didn't bring someone in January. Do you know, like, don't get me wrong, it has cost us the Premier League. But if we get the right players in this summer, and you're right what you're saying, we need we all know we need 4 or 5 players still. We all know we need a left winger. We all know we need a striker. We know potentially we're going to get Subamendi in. And I think that Norwegian kid, I think that could be a kind of a deal that kind of evolved.
Yeah.
And you look at certain players leaving a club that's going to obviously rack in quite a lot of money in terms of kind of wages and all that kind of stuff. And I just look at it, right, and I think we get the right players in this summer. With what we're producing at the moment, with the amount of injuries that we've had over the whole season, you like to think that couldn't happen again. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the extremity of the injuries we've got. Like, you can't make it up, can you? Like, with the amount of injuries we've had over. And I don't see any other team in the Premier League sitting second place with the amount of injuries we've had. The amount of red cards we've had. I'm sorry. The majority of them red cards shouldn't have been red cards. We know what a shit show the league's in terms of the refereeing and the officials. But I just look at next year and I think if we get the right players in, and I think we will do it this summer, I think we've got the right man to do it. I don't see who can compete with us next year. Honestly, in the Premier League, I sit there and I think, I don't see who. And I think if we'd kept our players fit, I think we'd be on Liverpool's toes now. And I honestly think if we would have been on Liverpool's toes, and I think they could have potentially folded. And I'm gutted that we haven't got closer to them. Do you know what I mean? But it is what it is. And I just think that, do you know what I mean? If we get the right players in the summer, it might end up being the right decision. With Bert.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether you can consider it a right decision.
It will look it, won't it? It will look it.
It would probably look it on the face of it because we'll either win the league or not, or win a trophy or not. But so it's kind of going to get masked either way, isn't it?
Don't get me wrong, we should have brought a striker in.
Yeah, and the Edu leaving or whether he was fired or whatever, which I kind of think he was.
Yep.
But I've always said that. But I think it's going to cover if it was the board not sending the money. I think it's going to be that basically it masks whether it was actually them that held the money back or whether it was Edu that couldn't get it off the line.
Definitely. Just the last thing on a conversation. Obviously, in terms of the performance yesterday, this could be a moment, couldn't it, that we'll look back on in terms of the squad and the team. Like, what confidence do you expect this to now give us moving forward, Sparksy, with this what we've done to Real Madrid last night?
I mean, it's a turning point mentality-wise. It's kind of a turning point, I guess, in stature from what people perceive, I guess, from the outside, because people gave us zero chance against Real Madrid. I watched a stream that Ryan was part of, and I like Hassam, I really do, but you know, sometimes it's just painful watching him because he lets agenda take over, and a lot of people do that. Oh, 3-0, 3-1. Oh wait,
is it?
The chat will let us know as well. One sec.
No, it's offside.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I think if they get a third, I think that'd be hard for them to get back in.
We're talking of which Barcelona.
Yeah, and this is the same principle as we were in, right? So if we beat them 3-1, then it's all on the knife edge. But 3-0 is a different story altogether. But I think if they can get out of there 2-1, I think that's a really good result for them.
We've got a question.
Come on.
Spino says, right, I have a bet on Barcelona to win 3-0. They're 3-0 up now in the 72nd minute. Does he cash out?
Cash out. They'll get a 4th or 5th. They're fucking relentless.
There you go. There's yours.
Cash out.
And that's not a decision. That's an opinion. So you do that at your own risk. Whatever you decide to do, it's on your own head. If you take Ryan's advice, it's Ryan's advice, and it's what he would do himself. He does not condone whatever you are going to do in any way, shape, or form. It's your finger first. Disclaimer.
Well, we're going to move on to the main man now, because I kind of kept it for a while. Declan Rice. Why have we not had him on set pieces?
We said the same thing last night, didn't we?
I tell you what was interesting that's come out, right, and makes me think a little bit, right. He said that Nicolas Jova wanted him to cross the ball. Is this guy, right? And don't get me wrong, right. He's done a lot of good in terms of it, like what he's done with the set pieces. But is he getting too involved in situations?
No, he's not. No, he's a set piece coach, and it was a set piece. So
I get that, but when the players were on the pitch,
we got a new guest.
Yeah, when the evening, when the players were on the pitch, right. Surely you've got to give them a bit of freedom, whether they think they got the ability, like Declan Rice did last night. Him and Bukayo Saka decided to take it in their own hands. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like, I think in game scenarios, I think that you should trust your players to make the right decisions in terms of.
Oh, they did, didn't they? They changed the decision.
Well, yeah, definitely.
So
but
it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, as a coach, a manager, whatever, you can say whatever you like on the touchline.
Yeah.
If I want to take a free kick, I'm taking a free kick, and I don't care if everybody's telling me not to. You know.
No, I'm not going to be funny, right? I get why Nicolas Jova might have said it, because I turned around both times and went, "Cool, this is a bit far out." Do you know what I mean? So,
but it's really so many times it's worked, isn't it?
Yeah. And do you know what? Right, it's an interesting one, because Declan Rice has obviously proven this year in terms of his set piece deliveries, in terms of corners and free kicks, that like him and Saka have literally got it on point when they're both playing. you're much more confident in terms of corners coming in from the right-hand side and left-hand side because of the quality of their set pieces. But surely moving forwards now, this guy has to be our free kick taker. Like, we hadn't scored a direct free kick since Martin Odegaard against Burnley in 2021. And then he conjures up them two absolute scorchers. And you look at the first goal, right, and you think that's a goal, well, definitely a goal of the month contender. But the second one's even more outrageous. And you're sitting there thinking, how can it be even more outrageous than the first one? And I was sitting there with Sarah saying, she don't know much about football. Even she was like, wow, look at that first goal, the way he's bent that. How's he done that? But then I was saying to her, why didn't you see the second one? The second one's even better. Like, he had no right to put it in that corner. He had no right to even consider to put it in that corner. Like, they were
the bar or the post, by the way.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous that he got it that close and it didn't skim either bar or post. Unbelievable.
Shall I tell you what, right? My first game I went to Wembley was Paul Gascoigne when he scored that free kick in 1990. And I have said up to this very day, before yesterday, that's the best free kick I've ever seen live. I actually think, and I never thought I'd see a better free kick. I actually think Declan Rice's one yesterday was absolutely incredible. It's probably but it's definitely up there, like one of the best free kicks I've ever seen. In terms of, it was just the speed of it, mate. Look at Courtois; he is literally nowhere near it.
And especially that, as you say, that second one, Courtois was actually nearer that post than obviously the first one. He's closer to where the ball went, but he just stands there. He doesn't expect to happen what happens.
I don't think no one did.
No one did. Always it's been from Declan. But no, it's as good as it. Obviously, got to set piece because he's doing what he's been asked to do. Like my brother says in the chat, 6 foot. Courtois 6'6", and you've one free kick. You're bending 4. By the way, that ball, you see it in the replay. Was it 4 or 5 yards? It bends outside the post when it comes back in, and it beats Courtois the way it does. And then to do it, what was it? How many minutes later? 10, 15 minutes later, whatever it was. And your second back to back. How many times have you seen a back-to-back free kick from the same player in the same game? And they're both top quality. But that second one, that was just taking the biscuit. I think the confidence he got from the first one made him do that. But it's great to hear that our players are taking responsibility on the pitch in terms of, okay, we've been told one thing, but I had a feel for it. And my teammates said, if you have a feel for it, go for it. So, like, just what will be. There's that we've been saying is our sort of restrain the players to play to their best abilities.
Yeah. But
clearly not, because obviously to say the players they're on the pitch and saying to each other, backing each other up and saying, you want to go for it. And that, as I say, the confidence on that first goal obviously led to him going for that second, and that second, like my brother says in the chat, that will probably win goal of the tournament.
Yeah, I think he's totally right. I think it probably will win goal of the tournament. Do you know what I mean? Like, to be fair, it's been 2 absolute full tonight to get up there.
4-0 now.
Yeah, well, that was obvious. I hope you listened.
But if you didn't, it was on you. If you did, it's on you.
Either way.
Yeah, exactly. It was all me now. But yeah, and like the other thing with Declan Rice is his overall performances, isn't it? Like, we know that he come back from a summer where he played a lot of games for us last year, first season. He then played the pretty much on his own in midfield for England, if we're being totally honest. And I think he was carrying an injury as well. But it has been a bit of a stop-start season at times for Declan Rice, isn't it? Like, it hasn't been, I think, from his standards at certain times. But I feel now that he's clicking into form, isn't he, at the right time? And I listen to fans sometimes going, I don't know if he's like good enough for this role. I don't know if he's good enough for that role. But what Declan Rice gives you is a bit of the all-round package. That's what he gives you, don't he? Like, I don't think that he can dictate games to potentially play the number 6 role. I've said that before, and I'll say that again, especially the way Arteta wants to play. And I think that's why we're seeing someone like Subamendi coming in. You look at what Thomas Partey does. Declan Rice ain't that player. But what he gives you, do you know what I mean, is that 100%. that commitment, that drive. What Xhaka probably give us at a different level over the last kind of couple 2 years. And I just want to say one thing I've always said about Declan Rice. I just want to see him score more goals. And if he can start taking free kicks as well, I think that would add another bow into his camp. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he can take corners now. He's taking free kicks. Do you know what I mean? If he can arrive late in the box, and I've seen more and more in the last few games, Ryan, that he is getting into the box more now.
Yeah,
and
he's driving a lot more. He's not just he's driving into the box. He's having a shot.
Yeah. I think this new system, though, with Lewis Skelly playing left back helps as well, because I think where he pushes in, inverts in, it pushes Rice forward.
Yeah.
But this connection with Lewis Skelly, with Rice, you know what I mean? With obviously Martinelli, this is what the big piece is, isn't it? Whoever comes in as left winger in the summer potentially with Martinelli competing, I think this left side position is going to become as good as our right. It's going to become as good as our right, and when that happens, I just don't see where teams can kind of manage our play, because if you've got Saka on one side doing it and then you've got someone on the left wing doing it as well, do you know what I mean? Like, that's a total different ball game. That's a total bit of a different ball game. It's crucial that we do get the right left winger in. Like, I like my plays, like the way he plays. Like the game I looked at the other day. What was the game that we played at home against Fulham? I thought he was sensational, but then I trust Martinelli whether he can play 2, 3, 4, 5 good games in a row. I don't see it. Where I think that's the level we got to get to with that role is, do you know what? They need to be as consistent.
Yeah, and again, that's been our issue with Martinelli.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Got you? Can you hear us though?
Can you hear us?
That's the question. He's now frozen on mine.
No.
He's now frozen on mine. I don't know about your end, but he's moving.
Yeah, it's a bit in and out for me.
Yeah, he's suddenly started slowing down for some reason.
Yeah, just proper frozen.
We're also waiting for him. As I say, like literally, this has been the thing with Martinelli, and it's a shame really, because obviously a couple of years ago he just burst, and it was part of him and Odegaard Saka all collectively getting 15 GA between them, and was it the best? Arguably, was it the best threesome in Europe? And he sort of, I don't know if it's confidence because obviously Granit left, or he didn't have that supply that that connection that we have with Odegaard and Saka on the right hand side, or it's just because there was, in terms of an out and out competition for him, competition in the sense of what he brings to the table to someone similar to take it to another level. Maybe it seems that it took the foot off the gas a bit, and against, as I say, like him said, against Fulham, we sort of got a glimpse of that again. What he can do, what we've all seen him do 2 seasons ago.
Well, he just started doing some things differently, didn't he? Instead of just being a one-trick pony, he was like cutting inside again. As he said. So it was just like, well, where's this been? You know,
exactly.
he did it before.
And then he went back, and then he went back of himself. The next game was like, oh, what are you doing to me?
And all the other times we were kind of looking at it, going, well, you all you weren't doing before was looking up before you did something, and you started doing that, and then you started cutting inside, and then you're doing what you're doing now, and it's just like, well, there's no product at all, is there? Just like you're just running. You might as well not be doing anything.
And people wonder why we're looking for another left wing. I mean, I think he needs to kick up the arse in terms. I've said it last. But
that's why we need another winger that supersedes him.
Yeah,
that gives him somebody to come up to, and basically go, right, okay, now you got to fight with him, otherwise you're on rotation. It's simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's 1 sec, so see if I can bring him back in now. But this is that's what I'm saying. Like I said this last year. He needed that kick up the arse, and obviously we didn't go for some. I think he just got it. And if we bring someone in the summer and he doesn't match up to the standards, we know how ruthless Arteta will be. And I was like, okay, then off we go, and he'll go and get someone to be the backup to the new guy.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Brilliant. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I I think next season's a bit of a. I think hopefully will be a bit of a game changer in terms of that role, but I hope like it kind of brings the best out of Martinelli as well, because I actually think that he needs that competition and drive to kind of push him.
It's literally what Ryan was just saying.
Yeah. That's definitely the key aspect here. But yeah, we'll see how that one kind of goes over materializes. But back to Declan Rice, sensational performance yesterday, and do like it's an interesting one, isn't it, with Declan Rice, because you watch yesterday, right, and you sit there and go, I don't want to use the word world class at the moment, but are we talking about a player that can, if he continues to do this, we're looking at a world class player? Because it was 105 million. There's a lot of pressure with that, and there was a lot of debate about it. But his assists and goals are matching up. Do you know what I mean? In terms of producing, and as I said, he's got so many bows to his cap. Like, are we looking at a player now that's going to that level?
He's going in the right direction. Let's just put it bluntly like that. He's going in the right direction. It's like you just asked. If he maintains it, and he keeps pushing for the next 12 months, then yeah. And he keeps pushing and he maintains it year in, year out, then yeah. That's like we've seen with Saka in terms of since he came through, he's got better and better. Now he's maintaining the levels, and that we're having that discussion about Saka as well. But with Declan, it's 105 million quid could. I said it last night in passing. Like that could be a bargain. That could look like a complete bargain. Come the end of his come the next 12 months or so, basically. No worries. Shit, take care, mate. But, yeah. The potential's there. It's up to him now. He's coming. Look where he was when with all due respect, he was a great player when we arrived, but already there's improvement there from what the player we signed. Taking set pieces. Now he's taking free kicks. I want from now on until further notice. I want him to take more free kicks and be more brave in them situations.
Yeah. Well, I think he's got the ability to be more brave in the situations. You know what I mean? I think like yesterday will give him a lot more confidence in terms of taking ownership, and I think this is what just shows you the Saka's kind of contribution to the team. That it's Saka saying go for goal. Do you know what I mean? Take the shot, right? And this is the piece with Saka, isn't it? Before we've always looked at him as our boy wonder, like he's young. But I look at him now, and I just look at his performance instead of the way he talks now. He's turning into a man now. He's turning into a leader. Yeah, he's turning into a leader. He's bringing out the confidence in others as well. Do you know what I mean? Like Declan Rice, but his performance yesterday, honestly, like I'll go back to it. Saka's performance yesterday, considering he's been out for a long, long time, was against. Yeah, there's no other way to describe it. There's no other way to describe it. No. I said it in a thing that on the X chat. Like, bookmark this. Saka's going to be turning up tonight. Saka's going to rip the shit out of him because that's the level he's at. That's the level that this guy's at. And I don't think at times he gets the flowers that he deserves. I think he gets a little bit of disrespect at times, if I'm being totally honest.
He does, because everyone, well, not everyone, our rivals love to hate. That's what it is. It's the media, social media banter, basically.
But it's even the bit with like England right wing, like, yeah, Cole Palmer's a good player. Do you know what I mean? He scored a lot of goals, but does he deserve to be in front of Saka in the England team? Absolutely not. Do you know what I mean? Like, absolutely not whatsoever. Like, what Saka's done for England, and it's not just about what he's done there, right? He was literally scoring goal after goal, getting man of the match after the man of the match. He got something like 6 man of the matches in 9 games for England or something like that. He turned up in the summer. Do you know what I mean? He scored a massive goal to get us back into a game. And then you're hearing people going, yeah, drop Saka. Like, no, absolutely not. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a guy who's mixing it with the absolute best. And do you know what? I'm hoping after last night, that kind of shuts that fucking down. Because he has to be, like, obviously he's number one for us, but he has to be number one for England as well, in my opinion, at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like Stefan said in the chat, it's silverware now. We get that silverware. For me, the discussions of Madrid for Salibas and Madrid on Liverpool and this, that, and for Sakas, this, that, and the other. We'll be there, but if we're winning silverware on a consistent basis, and it's across the board in terms of the FA Cups, the League Cups, Champions League, and all that over the next decade or so. The players, it's up to them. It's down to them in terms of if they do it, if it's down to money. Let's be brutally honest on that case, because we're doing everything else on the pitch clearly by winning silverware, and it's how they want to be perceived by this fan base. They came to the connection is there between us and the players. The love is there. All the players. Let's be brutally honest. Be it squad players, starters, whatever. It's down to how they want to be perceived at the end of their careers within our fan base as legends that stuck with us and won trophies and continue to stick with us just another bit until whenever, or they're great players that won trophies, but when it mattered, they wanted to fill their pockets basically.
Yeah,
that's to be the big question. And this is what this is the reason why I added you in that post I saw about Gabriel. All this talk about Gabriel is this, that, and the other. Or he could be one of these players in the next 12 months before his injury. Like he could be gone. That did not like a player that wanted to be out of it.
No, that's not a player. That's not a player. Like I don't see
the opportunity. He wanted to get up and jump all over the place yesterday.
Yeah. But a comment that Beat's Gunners just made.
Yeah.
And like this is the thing, isn't it? Like the players have to believe that going to win it and show it after last night, they must have to taste the finals in their mouth. Like this is a Real Madrid team that are absolutely shell shocked in that second half. Like you have world stars like Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe, just literally just absolutely baffled. And
it's for me what the best from our point of view. The best thing for me was when we got that first goal, we said we've had this discussion as well. It's like when we get a goal, we usually put handbrake on, come back, and we go, come at us, break us down now. Last night, it's like we got that first goal. The crowd you're there. The crowd's lifted, but the players smelt blood, and it was relentless. We did not let go. And I'm going to ask because you're there. It felt for me that when the second goal went in, the second free kick, the roof almost came off, basically.
Yeah, like I can't tell you how delirium that stadium was when the second and like obviously the first as well. But when you look at I think the second one's just absolutely outrageous. But when the third goes in, like you're sitting there now and you're sitting there and you're thinking, wow, I'm seeing something special now. Do you know what I mean? I'm seeing something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life kind of moment. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, the atmosphere, how delirious the stadium was. Like the stadium was absolutely pumping from the moment the players were ready to come out of the tunnel when the North London Forever came in. Oh, that's a big goal. That is a big, big goal in injury time. I think that goal, like Aston Villa needed to see that out. I think that goal could have potentially secured PSG.
Because now Villa, for all the listeners as well, basically PSG have just scored 3-1, 92nd minute basically of 3. There's no away goals, by the way, so the goal they scored tonight doesn't count for nothing. They've got to win by 3 clear goals at Villa Park.
That's a poor. Do you know what? Right, Aston Villa. I was sitting there thinking at 2-1, Aston Villa have got a really good chance still going through. 3-1. Nah, I don't see it.
At least we know who we're playing in the semis.
Yeah, but just going back to that stadium bit.
Sorry,
like it was like you're seeing something special. Where you're seeing something that you know what I'm going to talk about for the rest of my lifetime. I talked about talking to my kids and all that. Do you know what I mean? It was that kind of moment. But I'll bring something else up. I think this all started through the Manchester City game. I think that Man City performance gave us the confidence last night when we scored that first goal.
That belief, yeah.
That belief that we can actually we look at Man City as like one of the top 2 teams in the whole world, don't we? At the moment, we do. Well, we have done. Do you know what I mean? It's been Real Madrid and Man City, isn't it, all the way over the last few years? They played each other. They've been the best 2 teams. So we look at Manchester City, right? And we probably think that they're the second best team in the world at the moment, and we destroyed them 5-1. I don't think, right, if we destroyed Real Man City 5-1 at the Emirates in February, we'd have gone on to have the belief that we did. And it weren't about Declan Rice's goals. Like you said, it was about the application. It was about, we smell blood. It was about, actually, we're going to destroy this team. And I don't think if we did not have done that to Man City, I'm not sure we'd have had the confidence to do that last night. And we've totally ripped the best two teams in the world. That's what we've done. But we've not just done that. We've not, like, this is the other thing. When everyone was saying to me yesterday, why are you so confident that we're going to win tonight? Like, I wasn't confident that I said 3-1. Right? I wasn't confident that we're going to pull that performance off. But we haven't lost to a top 6 team in the last 2 years in the Premier League. We turn up when every big game, home and away, we've turned up. Factual. Absolute factual. We've turned up. Our big problem and our big Achilles heels is when we're going away to the likes of Everton, when we're going away to the likes of Fulham, do you know what I mean? West Ham at home. The gimmies as such. The low blocks. That's our problem.
Yeah. Well, that's something that obviously in the summer that again we say Arteta's got to go behind the scenes and work out how to counteract it. I think these are again go back to how we were a couple not last season, the season before, just back in the last season, second half of last season. Let the players loose. They know they can defend. They can hold their own defensively. There is a balance then, and obviously last night showed that they are taking responsibility now. You've got to keep giving them that now. There's no excuse. We can't keep micromanaging these players anymore because it's holding them back. It's costing us points, and obviously, as I say, taking out the equation, what's potentially going to happen with Liverpool with two of their players, from what we're hearing tonight, taking out the equation, we've just got to make sure we're ready. If we're ready, I still think with or without Salah and Van Dijk, we'll be the team to watch basically and team to look out for next season. Injuries and all that permitted, but obviously, in terms of this, as I say, I woke up this morning and I've just the day itself has just been brilliant for me. Like just as an Arsenal fan,
surreal.
Surreal. That's the best bit. But the best way I can put it, surreal, because from our point of view, we witnessed the 05-06 season when we played Madrid and that Galactico team. That was something. Over the 2 legs, we got through that. That was brilliant. But this, considering what happened, like you mentioned earlier in the show, in terms of last season against Bayern, I think looking back, it was naivety from our point of view. That the excitement, getting to a quarter final, it's Bayern Munich, the way they were last season, they were there for the take. We all knew it, but the way Arteta and the players as well got to take responsibility here. What went about things is what cost us. Going so gun ho in that first leg and leaving ourselves open for the counter attack that we did for them 2 goals that they scored. That's what cost us. And what we've heard from Arteta is that really hurt the players. The one players that are still here, they've learned from it. And I said at the start of the stream last night before the kickoff, I was like, well, you're saying all these words, you're saying the right things, but this is now you prove it. And they prove it just halfway through the time, we're 3-0 up. So far, you're proving it, but obviously, let's see the job off come Wednesday. Get us to that semi-final now for definite. Obviously, we've got 1 foot there. I know it's 3-0 and all that, but as you've mentioned, this is Real Madrid. If anyone's going to come back from a 3-goal deficit, it's going to be them in the modern era. I mean, with the current setup.
Game ain't over whatsoever, mate. I thought about all different scenarios. Like I looked at the other day, or they scored something like 3 goals in so many minutes. Don't get me wrong, we're well set up, but the problem is, right? It's a totally different scenario. Newcastle in the League Cup, but we went there and we was absolutely awful that night. And do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think we go there and put that kind of performance. But we got to remember that we have had that performance in the past. Now we're in a totally different situation, and it's a good question because obviously BX Gunners just said, do we stink up the Bernabeu and park the bus, or do we go for more goals? And I don't think, I don't think us going there and parking the bus is the right decision. I think what we need to do is go and score.
Yeah.
What we need to do is go and score there, mate. Go and get an early, or go and get a goal. Do you know what I mean? Shut their crowd up. That's what we need to do. Like, they were shell shocked yesterday. They were shell shocked. Obviously, they're going to want to do better in front of their own crowds and all that. Have they got the ability to do it? Of course, they got the ability to do it. Do I think that they've got the bollocks to do it? I'm not sure. Because
last night.
No, like they look shell shocked. Absolute shell shocked at the end, and it becomes a bit of a belief thing, doesn't it? It then becomes a belief. Do they actually believe that they can turn this round? Like, I look at Kylian Mbappe, and for whatever, all of a great player he is, yeah, right? You look at the France team as well. Like, there's something not right. In terms of the way France are at the moment. There's definitely something not right in terms of the Real Madrid are at the moment. Yeah, he's a great player, but is he a great egg? Is he? Do you know what I mean? Is he a great egg? And I just challenge, yeah, right, whether.
Look how he behaved at PSG for the last few years.
Yeah, I just think, yeah, right, at times, yeah, right, sometimes that can be to the detriment of teams. And I look at the way France are, and I look at the way Real Madrid look in certain situations, and they gave up last night. They pretty much gave up last night. They were shell-shocked, absolute shell-shocked. They gave up. And they definitely got the ability to turn it around. I just don't know whether they got the bollocks to turn it around. And I hope they ain't got the bollocks to turn it around, by the way. But, like, you've got to be mindful that if they get an early goal, then it's then going to ask us a lot of questions. But this look at the other direction. We have scored 5 goals in Lisbon this year. We have scored 7 goals in PSV this year.
Yeah.
In Holland. Do you know what I mean? We have gone to these grounds, yeah, right, and score goals. So this team's got belief that they can go to these grounds now and score goals. Where in the past they didn't have that belief. They didn't have that courage.
Also, we've probably got the meanest defence in the competition still at the teams that are still going. What was it? Atalanta, match day 1, your Europa League winners. Was it 0-0 there? We're barely conceding as well, home and away.
6 goals we've conceded in Champions League this year. So it's going to be a tall order for Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you look at it next week. You still got to have a question mark on Kivior. Can he produce it away from home in an intimidating situation? That's a big question. Does Arteta potentially maybe consider, like, and this will be a big decision. Maybe he might think, do you know what? Lewis Skelly might not be the right man for this, for next week, in terms of the way I want to play, the way I want to defend. Do you know what I mean? The way I want the team to be quite rigid. Does he potentially go Timber right left back and Ben White right back next week? Is that another question? So there's a few questions to be asked, isn't there, next week in terms of, and I think the other one, I think he will start Martinelli and Saka. To be fair, I think Martinelli and Saka will start, but then. He then might think, do you know what I mean? If I need one chance, Trossard could get me that one goal. Like, Trossard was really good in PSV. So there's a lot of questions, isn't there? There's a lot of aspects. I expect Martinelli and Saka to start. The midfield is the midfield. I think the big question is what he does with the fullbacks. I don't think he won't do anything with the centre backs and the goalkeeper, obviously. I think the big question will be, does he play Timber and White, or does he consist with Timber and Miles Lewis Skelly?
Yeah, but the main thing tactically is game management. Like I said, for them last 10 minutes last night, even when we got the third goal and all that, I'm saying, I'm literally sitting there going, don't let him, don't take the foot off the gas, keep going, just keep what you're doing, do what you do. And again, one thing you can say about Arteta when it comes to big games, like you say, our record against the Big Six in recent times is. There's no one comes that close to us, basically, in terms of that side of things. It's he will run at home. Yeah, we're 3-0 up, but let's not get carried away here. Let's see the job out now.
the one game, and like they've said that game, the one game that reminds me of it, Liverpool-Barcelona. Barcelona were 3-0 up in that first leg.
Yeah, and he will remind them of things, even though it wasn't nothing to do with us. He will remind them, like, it can happen.
It can definitely happen.
So that he'll drill in. Even though we got Brentford on Saturday evening, even now as we speak, he'll be drilling that into these players. Don't get carried away.
No.
20-minute spells. First 3 minutes, second 20 minutes, half time, and keep going, and then second half, the same again. Every 20 minutes, reevaluate it. We reevaluate where we're at, and there's anything insane happens basically from a bad point of view. But it's a 20-minute spells, bang, 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 and get ourselves through this tie. We've done so far. We've done the hard work. It's in terms of get the goals, put ourselves in the position. It's in our hands. It's now seen the job out now.
I agree with Sansi. Like, he's saying that obviously more nerve-wracking being 3-0 up and 1-0, and I totally agree with that, because you start thinking of every situation. You start thinking, like, if they score in the first 10 minutes or they go 2-0 up in the first 20 minutes, then you start looking at our Real Madrid favourites. Do you know what I mean? At that point, and that's why I don't think we can go there and defend. We need to go there with a mindset. We need to score a goal. Once we scored a goal, it literally
puts balance. It's a balance for me of attack or don't overcommit, and help make sure you hold your own positional wise.
Well, you're looking at they got to score 4 then, and you're looking at our team and you're thinking, don't get me wrong, if we had Gabriel and Saliba, right, I'll be sitting there thinking I'm very, very, very confident. Do you know what I mean? But it's going to be the question mark. It's still going to be the question mark next week. Is can Kivior produce it in the Bernabeu? And if he does it in the Bernabeu, then do you know what? I think, as BX said as well, like his valuation's going up. Do you know what I mean? So that puts another 10 million on him, but it will just increase his confidence as well. So for Kivior, it's everyone's biggest game next week. But for Kivior, this could be a game changing moment for him.
A key point in the season as well, because obviously we see if he obviously, as you say, has an amazing game, and the team has an amazing game next week as well. There's a semi-final place at stake where he's got a couple of games to fight for to prove his point, to maintain his spot in said semi-final.
This is a player that he probably thought that he was going out the door at one point as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? This is a player that he like. This reminded me a bit of the California situation. He was put at left back like the first year, weren't he? Quite a bit to kind of fill a position, but. Yeah, it's so big next week. We'd all be sitting there thinking about every day, every different scenario. Do you know what I mean? And like we got to remember, we're still playing the best team in the world football next week, and we're going into an intimidating atmosphere. So it's going to be a great occasion. Do you know what I mean? But if we can get over the line and get into the semi-final,
but no Camavinga to deal with either. That was a stupid red card for him.
That's the thing. No red cards. Do you know what I mean? What happens if we get a red card? That then changes
bookings as well in terms of Timber, Declan, and Martinelli. They're still on a yellow card thing, aren't they? So they get. Do
they continue into the second semi-finals?
I could double check on it once we're off air, but I believe that's the case. I'll double check though, in case it's changed. But if it is the case, that's what I'm saying. If that is the case, even their individual game management's got to be spot on.
Yeah, something that says to me that I think they get scrapped off after the semi-finals now. I think if it's more like to try and protect people from not the final, isn't it?
Yeah, as I say, I'll double check once I'm offline. Well, that's jazz.
But it's going to be a bit of an interesting one. But looking ahead now to Saturday, we're not really going to do a big deep dive into the Brentford team or anything like that. But obviously, we've said before, like selection is going to be key Saturday, isn't it? And it's going to be vital in terms of who we can potentially rotate in terms of playing this game. Like this is our biggest game of the season next Wednesday, and there's certain players that we can't afford to lose. And as I've said, William Saliba for me, I'll be leaving on the bench on Saturday, and that's a big call because we're not out the title race yet whatsoever. But do you feel that we should be able to trust Ben White and Kivior on Saturday with probably Timber at right back,
Lewis Skelly left back,
Lewis Skelly left back? Do we potentially?
That should be okay to do a job. should.
Is that something you would do?
Yeah, why not? Like literally, as I say, we
can't afford to lose Saliba.
No, it's not just that. It's just we just can't afford to do anything in terms of losing Saliba or any players. I think for me, Saliba's, Isaka's, Odegaard, and obviously even Declan, I'd rest him on the bench and put Jorginho in midfield alongside Partey or Jorginho alongside whoever.
I think he'll rest Partey Saturday again. I think he'll manage Partey for Jorginho.
Rotate all our main players, rotate them out. Put even they've not been on the bench and bring them on for the last 15, 20 minutes, depending on how the game's going, whatever. But yeah, do what you did against Everton. Keep them fresh. Less chance of them getting knocks or injuries, this, that, and the other. The better.
Sterling to start.
Fuck it, why not?
The thing is, he got an assist, didn't he?
He got an assist. That's what I'm saying. He's got this. Yeah, he got the assist at the weekend. On the other side of Merseyside, where he's used to. But as I say, fully experience. Again, he's got experience. As much as we haven't really got on, he hasn't really clicked with him as a whole this season, and fans haven't really, because of that, got on board with him. It's just to say, our key players need rotating out, and it gives him game minutes anyway. So why not? It is what it is. It's just, look, if he gets another assist or goal, and his confidence keeps going for the last few weeks of the season. So that's good for us, because obviously that's more Premier League minutes he can get the longer we're in this competition. In terms of Premier League, I mean.
I think it's an intro. I do think it's a really interesting one Saturday in terms of how he's going to approach it. I think the only reason if Saliba plays is if Timber's if he thinks that Timbers potentially needs the rest, because we know Timber's been kind of like injured as well, and he is quite vulnerable at times. I think so. That would be the only reason why I think Saliba would play. But I'm going to go with like Raya to be in goal, probably Timber right back. Skelly potentially left back, with
I think Kivior and White.
Yeah, Kivior and White. Now the one that I would kind of consider if you wanted Declan Rice to be kind of rested would be Zinchenko potentially to play centre midfield again, on the left hand side, because he did that, didn't he, against PSV? So I wouldn't rule that out as such. I'm not sure he will, but I wouldn't rule that out. And I guess Odegaard, there ain't really a natural replacement if one area is going to be on the right. Trossard on the left, and you'd have probably thought Marino up front. So I think it's an interesting one Saturday.
Yeah.
But it's one that we need to win the game, because we need to keep the pressure on. Like the other thing I was thinking, if Liverpool just say they don't beat, they drop an unexpected home game to someone like West Ham, for example, you start looking at it, right? You start thinking, well, they got us. They've got Brighton away and Chelsea away. So there's 9 points.
Tottenham as well.
And they've got Tottenham as well. So if there was a slip-up somewhere at home, then that would ask a few questions, wouldn't it? But that's where we need to keep on the towel. We just need to keep on the towel at the moment. And I look at our fixtures, and I think they're much kinder. I look at Brentford's going to be an hard game Saturday. It's always a hard game, Brentford at home. But you look at it, you think you've got Brentford at home, Ipswich away. Like, these are games, no disrespect to Stefan, by the way, but these are the games that we should be winning. Do you know what I mean? Then you look at Crystal Palace at home. Well, actually, they've got a FA Cup semi-final 3 days later. So they're not going to be. They're going to be considering resting players. And actually, that fixture, if we get into semi-finals, has worked out beautifully for us, because actually it gives us a free weekend before the semi-final.
Yeah.
So that works out well. But then you look at the last games. I think we got Bournemouth at home, Newcastle at home, Southampton away, and obviously the big one against Liverpool. So you look at it, I'd be expecting to win at least 6 of them, at least 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely good.
But we have to win at Liverpool. If we have to win at Liverpool. But do you know what? We're capable of winning there. Like, I think in the past, this is the difference between us now till last year and the year before. When we went there the year before, we went 2-0 up. We wasn't in control of the situation. We couldn't control the game still.
Got the crowd out.
if we went 2-0 up there now, I think we control that whole game.
Yeah, 100%, and we wouldn't be again. I think, like you say, controlling the game, but it's also the naivety because obviously we're 2-0 up at that game, and one of our most experienced players at that time, for some stupid reason, decided to get the crowd going. As soon as we got the crowd going in terms of Granite, we know what happened, don't we? So
Yeah.
we don't have to go relive it all. But as I say, I think this squad, the players that were there then, that are still here now, have learnt from that. And as a whole, not just for Liverpool and Anfield, but as a whole, they've learnt from that. Even last night, in the first half, when the referee was either getting in the way of the game, literally getting in the way of the play and all that, or was giving Madrid calls that shouldn't have been free kicks and things like that. They weren't going. Our players were, they're going over the ref and like asking why. Once that moment passed, it was it. They didn't let it linger. They didn't let it get to their heads, and they kept on playing their game. Whereas in years gone by, players would have let it linger, lashed out, and potentially cost us a game, basically.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be an interesting couple of weeks. Like, I don't expect nothing from West Ham, I'm being totally honest. No. Then you sit there and think they'll come to us and roll us over. Do you know what I mean? But they won't go to like any other ground like we want them to do it. So, like, fingers crossed they can maybe do something. But yeah, I think it's just one where we've just got to continue to put the pressure on. But this is probably the game where I look at it and I think it. It could be all over Saturday. Do you know what I mean? If we rotate the team and we don't win, like at that point, you look at it and you think, yeah, that's 100% over with at that point. But potentially it's doing it for the right reasons. But we 100% need to win the game. So yeah, I think it's a tricky one for Mikel on Saturday. If I'm being totally honest, it
is, but it's a good thing to have because obviously with the position we put ourselves in after last night, it's a good thing it's a good headache for him to have. It's not like if he does rotate come Saturday like we expect, he's doing it for the sake of still trying to chase the tie and all that. He'll be doing it to keep his players fit, not risk no injuries, but also because he's got something to protect instead of going to chase. It's either which way. As long as this time next week, we're sitting here celebrating our team getting to a semi-final of the Champions League. Let's just be honest. Start of the season is probably part of our expectations in terms of Champions League itself, in terms of getting to semi-finals. Because we've got quarterfinals last year. The expectation would have been for most of us is get to the semis at the very least, bare minimum, semi-finals this year. Try and push and try and win it. And that is without all the hoo-ha we've had this season, along with everything else. So that'd be something to say, look back on and go, okay, you found yourselves in a situation and you worked a way to get to this point. We can still win it. I'm not saying we're going to win it, but we put ourselves in a position where confidence-wise, we knock out Madrid this time next week and obviously got PSG as it stands, potentially PSG in the semis. I don't know which way around the times would be for the semis, by the way. In terms
first
of
round at the Emirates.
First leg at the Emirates.
I think that's
us though, because again, like last night, we know straight from the off. Then we need to make the home leg count, and then take something to Paris potentially, and go and do what we did against Madrid, basically. But this time with PSG.
That might stump PSG a little bit, because they're both their games so far have been home games, first games. Yeah. So I think that might stump them a little bit in terms of they're not being in a situation this year that
preparation as well.
Yeah, exactly. So that could put a little stump in it. Look, I think that third goal's a killer tonight.
Yeah.
I think that third goal's a killer. I just think that they're a level above, isn't they, Aston Villa? And I think Aston Villa needed to see that game out of 2-1.
Well, again, I know it's a new format, but all due respect to Aston Villa, for their first season back in European football for over 40-odd years, however long it's been, a quarter-final isn't the worst thing in the world, is it? With all due respect.
No, I think it's
most of the players haven't got experience in this competition.
Fantastic achievement for Aston Villa. Like I thought they might be able to beat PSG, but I think Aston Villa needed to have that first leg at their place. They needed the first.
They needed that atmosphere. They needed the fans on them. Yeah.
And I think as long as you get a win in the first leg, it changes the whole complexion in the second leg, because actually you can go to these teams in the second, like us, right? And we can play on the break now. Do you know what I mean? We can literally soak it up a bit and then just hit them on the break with Martinelli and Saka. I think it actually works out better for us to play the first leg first. Do you know what I mean? I think, right, if we had played the second leg first, I think if we had played the first leg at Real Madrid or PSG, for example, and didn't get a win,
for sure,
I think we struggle at home. I think we're struggling. I think we get done on the counter attack. Do you know what I mean? I think that we are in a stronger situation to get the win on the board first, and then have the knowledge of what we actually need to do in their ground.
Yeah. Yep. And then obviously, again, assuming if we get that far, we get through that, there's a final in Berlin. Again, potentially a chance to the way things are going on the other side of the draw.
You look at Barcelona, won't you? It's going to be Barca Inter, the semi-final.
It'd be Barca or Inter, one of the two. But if it is Barca, a chance to avenge 2006. And how bittersweet could that be from an Arsenal point of view?
Cracking final that would be, wouldn't it?
But also from an Arsenal point of view, after the disappointment of 06 and how things went down in that final in terms of the red card, the goal, the equaliser that should have been disallowed, nowadays disallowed off offside, all the hurt that we had to go through. For 19 years later, full circle comes back and we've got the chance to avenge it, and we do. But this time in Germany. And also get that first Champions League title for us. And maybe imagine that be the first after you go, basically, to push us going forward.
It would definitely put us in a situation where, as I said, from a perspective in terms of recruitment drive and attracting the players that you want to attract, it would certainly put us in a situation where I don't think we'd ever be in that position before of being able to attract the very top players. And I think that's what it would do. And I think that's what I'm saying. I think we've got the right man now in charge to kind of get these deals over the line.
Yeah. And it's just with that, the players we're talking to, the Nico, Zupermendi's, Nico's, Gorkulez's or Isaac's, they're going to be the next will be like, actually, I don't go there. Thank you very much. Let's make it happen. One way or the other, let's make it happen. What I think, obviously going back to last night's game, the one thing I loved about last night after the game was obviously Declan's comments in the interviews and all that, saying this is the best night of his career. We've had a few West Ham fans, I see.
Oh, old Central weren't happy, was he?
No. These are the levels for you West Ham fans are sort of a bit rattled by. These are the levels, you see. Conference League, winning the Conference League, okay, it's a trophy, but Champions Leagues, in terms of you're playing the best of the best in Europe, and scoring in general a brace. There's levels to this thing, basically, and Conference League's a bit.
Yeah, it is levels. Like, don't get me wrong. What he did at West Ham, he left like we were winning that cup, was a big thing for West Ham as a club. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, it was a big thing for the club, and it was something that they'll look back on really fondly. But I think to be honest, I think the majority of the West Ham fans will look at it that. He hasn't said that in a disrespectful way. What he's saying is that from a career perspective,
from his own personal perspective in a game,
like this is a player, right, that's just done it against the very best team in the world,
the defending champions.
Yeah, the defending champion, the very best team in the world, right. The best team over the last 10, 15 years, like within Europe, and he's literally game changed the whole game. And like, for him, that's going to be his best footballing night of his career because he's delivered on the pitch. He probably looks at his performance in that final. He might sit there and think, do you know, I had a bit of a bang average game in that final. Yeah, we see the winning. We won the game. I'm not saying that happened, but that's how he might perceive it. Do you know what I mean? He might sit there and think, I didn't actually play that well in the final, or I did what I needed to do. But yesterday, he literally made himself in front of the whole world the man.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's talking about Declan Rice free kicks. You can guarantee, all across Europe, they're like watching this game. They're thinking, bloody hell, this guy. And it's probably even more astonishing that he's never scored a free kick in his career.
He's absolutely mental. As I said earlier, like, since we've signed him, he was a cracking player when we signed him. Let's not get it twisted, but he's come on leaps and bounds. Within 6 months of us signing him, he went off to Dubai with the club, the squad side, and came back and he was taking corners and set pieces. And
Yeah.
look how stronger we looked at whilst doing that. And now he's now potentially adding this bow to that string. If he keeps, as we said earlier in the stream, keeps maintaining this, the world's his oyster, basically, in terms of becoming one of the potentially world's best in his position, basically. And it puts to bed that question of what is his position in midfield? How is he going to fit X, Y, and Z in terms of Arteta or the English setup, this, that, and the other? It puts it all to bed, and we move on and we enjoy what we've got.
Sandsy just saying again, no other team in the Champions League have had 11 shots on target against Real Madrid. We had 12 shots and 11 shots of them were on target. Mental. How many teams have made Real Madrid look poor? And that's the thing. Like, I think the biggest thing we can say last night was they were shell-shocked. Their players looked absolutely shell-shocked.
I think they thought they'd just turn up and do what they did. Because they won so convincingly against City in the playoff round, I think they thought that would happen again. Even though they'd lost to Liverpool earlier on in the league phase, whatever you call it, they thought this because of our situation, just turn up and push us to the side, basically. They bit them on the backside. Yeah,
I definitely think there's that bit of mentality in there. Like, and to be fair, they've earned it, haven't they? As such, like what they've done over the years. I think that they can. They probably were in a situation where they would just navigate their way through the Emirates game, and get us back to the Bernabeu. Do you know what I mean? And I guess for 55 minutes, right, they were sitting there thinking quite comfortable, weren't they? Not comfortable because we were actually knocking on their door and we was literally having chances. But they're probably sitting there at that point thinking, do you know what? Okay, we knew they were going to give us a bit of a go in this place, but we get out of there just with a 1-goal deficit at the worst. Like, we'll navigate that in the Bernabeu. And then they just been literally gun-sucked by 3 quick goals and they're 3-0 down and they totally lost their heads. Like, you look at Camavinga's red card, absolutely ridiculous.
At the end there, yeah.
And that's that like, do you know what I mean? That was the piece, wasn't it? That was the final piece that you could see that was the final moment. You're like, we have actually got in their heads. And this is the thing now, like, with them, I don't know if they've got the bollocks to in the second leg to, do you know what I mean? If it happens again, I think they'll just wilter because I'm not sure that they can control the other side of it, and I'm not sure if they've got the players to dig deep. And that's one thing we've got is the players to dig deep.
Yeah, I think if we get to half time next week at 0-0, I think the second half they'll just come out and go through the motions, and we'll just pick them off bit by bit, and we'll get that goal. We'll get that goal in the second half probably just to seal the tie properly.
Guess who was the first team to go 1-up at Madrid? Alan Smith on the pitch, Leeds United.
I was about to say, I wonder who that could be.
Do you know who the first English team to win in the Bernabeu was?
I think that's Arsenal in 2006, I believe.
Arsenal.
Mr. Thierry Henry turned up in his yellow long sleeved and took him to task.
Exactly. Anyway, on that note, I think we'll wrap up. It's getting to 10:30.
Did you want to do that trip? Did you want to discuss what happened at the weekend in terms of Everton and all that?
We quickly do that. I'm glad you reminded me about that. Obviously on Saturday, and firstly, obviously, just want to say a big thank you to Everton Football Club in terms of the tribute, and I just think they showed a lot of class, didn't they, in terms of a player that was obviously a massive cult hero for both Arsenal and Everton Football Club. And obviously they did a beautiful tribute where they went around the ground. Obviously done the minute applause for Kevin Campbell. And yet again, obviously he's a person that we totally miss in terms of everything that he offered. From a kind of social media perspective. And what he offered in terms of kind of obviously on TV with his kind of punditry and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, absolutely beautiful in terms of what happened. And yeah, I just think from my perspective, I just thought Everton come out of that really, really well. And to be honest, it was something that I expected Everton to do anyway. I think they are a club of class, and I think they showed it on Saturday with this. And do you know what?
I think it was. Yeah, sorry. I was going to say. I think it was nice as well, considering obviously he was an Arsenal academy, had that connection with us anyway as an ex-Arsenal player. That they even though it's how long it's been, they still marked that obviously that last game at Goodison Box between the two teams, like that, with that 9th minute moment, basically, and both fans came together, singing his name with those, and obviously, I played the video in a minute, but yeah, the banners and the flags and all that, I think it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So the best side of both fans and both clubs.
Yeah, definitely. And like as I said, I think obviously Arsenal have always had that bit of kind of respect for each other, and I think they've obviously both been. I think they're both kind of classy clubs, to be honest, over the years. So yeah, a really nice tribute. And do you want to show the video now?
Yeah, one sec.
For both of these clubs. Very, very fondly remembered by Everton and Arsenal fans.
Brilliant. Even like the noise you can hear generated. Absolutely brilliant. Obviously as well, Rocky. Obviously another year's gone past, and obviously we always do a bit of a tribute for Rocky every kind of year. We always know in April, sadly, obviously we lost him. And yet again, do you know what I think kind of fills me with courage is out with, like, we always talk about kind of Bukayo Saka, don't we? How he's literally eliminating what kind of Rocky did in terms of that number 7 shirt, in terms of what he's doing on the pitch, the connection he's got with the fans. Do you know what I mean? I just think Saka is our Rocky.
Yeah,
that's the biggest tribute I can pay both of them, if I'm being totally honest. That's the biggest tribute I can pay both of them. And but we'll never forget what a fantastic player for us he was. Rocky. He was a game changer, weren't he? He was a guy that could obviously just flicker a game just like that. And some absolute wonderful moments with him. Two league titles as well, scoring that goal at Spurs in the League Cup semi-final to send us to the final. So yeah, obviously another one that's obviously long gone but never forgotten. Anything you want to say, Ryan?
No, it doesn't. With Rocky, again, every year it doesn't get easier. Again, it's taken to us way too young. Great. Again, we heard when Kev was about, he'd come on here or another and he'd speak about Rocky and other players, righties and all that, and how Rocky was not just with them but with the general public, in terms of he didn't think he never had that mentality of I'm above you, you people. You get in the modern day the players that think they're above the fans and don't really want to interact. He loved the fans and the fans loved him. But no matter where he went, even from after Arsenal, no one has a bad word to say about him and ever will. And with Kev, it's again another one taken to way too young, way too soon. And again, that was a gutter because obviously we knew of him personally because of what we do here. And obviously his son's doing him proud this year in the Championship at Sheffield United on the fighting to get themselves. And I think it'll be rather fitting to see for his son to be, even though he's not for his son to be in the Premier League, play Premier League football at the top flight with whoever at Sheffield United next season, and show what he's all about as well. And show he's his own man, he's his own player, even though he has the name of his dad basically. And I don't. They're both missed. Neither of them will be forgotten. We'll never allow it to be. We here will never allow them to be forgotten.
No,
going forward.
And do you know what? I think this is why, right? When you have nights like last night, for example, you can never take it for granted. Do you know what I mean? You can never take it for granted. Like, this is why you've got to enjoy nights like last night. Do you know what I mean? I know people go like you got the likes of this world. Do you know what I mean? That go, oh yeah, come out of all the crap and all that kind of shit. But over celebrating too soon, but you've got to enjoy nights like last night, because these nights don't come around too often. And when you see the short lives that these two gentlemen have had, and they should be here with us, celebrating us with that moment last night, that they'll be watching down at us, absolutely proud of the team in terms of what they produced. But they should be here with us, celebrating with us. Do you know what I mean? They should have been in the stadium last night. They should have been kind of experiencing that special moment. And I'll just say to everyone, you can't take life for granted whatsoever.
No.
What's here today can be gone tomorrow, and that's why you just kind of celebrate each day as it comes. And do you know what I mean? I'm enjoying the moment. I'm enjoying what we see last night. I'm enjoying the moment. Whatever happens next week, but I'm going to make sure I have a good week because of it. And so should all of us, really.
Again, 100%. Again, there's one thing I hate about social media, that everything has to be micromanaged now to do influence stuff. You can't, as you say, enjoy the moment. Like, let us enjoy the moment. If it's the other way around, if it was United, they'd be asking for the same thing. Let us enjoy our moment. Just leave us to it. Like, it might sting you a bit because it's a rival and all that, but there's as you know, there's other things, personal stuff I've got going on behind the scenes, off air and all that you know about. There's more to life than trying to tell people how to celebrate a moment or celebrate their team or anything in life going. Let us do what we want to do. Let's do this, as I say, it's a celebration. The pundits as well, the pundits don't know things, ex-players. Leave the fans to do what they want to do. They're fans for a reason. Let them. We have a hard enough life as it is day to day, and this, that, no matter what walk of life you come from.
Yeah,
football's meant to be our release. Let us have that release. Let us have that euphoria, no matter what the circumstances are in terms of the moment of what it is. Let us enjoy it. That'd be like telling Nottingham Forest fans, why are you happy being third? Why are you happy to be in Champions League? It's not a trophy. Let them enjoy it. They were in the Championship a couple of years back. Let them enjoy it.
By the way, where's old Alter Ego?
Very quiet Sunday the last couple of weeks, last few shows. Sorry,
because he had a lot to say, didn't he, on Saturday and Sunday about Arsenal and Madrid?
Didn't even turn up last night.
I bet he didn't. Anyway, on that note, just want to say, obviously, firstly, a massive thank you to everyone who's obviously participated in the show. Before we finish, though, we ain't done it. Score prediction for Saturday, Ryan?
I think we home or away? Can't remember. Home, aren't we? Home. Ooh. 2-1 Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm going 2-1 as well.
Yeah.
I think they'll bring us a challenge like usual.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it won't be as late this year as last year. Don't you remember Kai Havertz's header in the 87th minute?
Yeah, I remember that. I was there, weren't I?
And Stefan's hit it right. Ego, stand humble. Love that. We're going to end the note on that one. And that's an absolutely brilliant one. But obviously, thank you very much, Ryan, for coming on. Want to say thank you, Sparksy, for coming on. He had to stay. He had to go because he was on another show. Good evening to Rosie. Congratulations on the win yesterday. Arsenal were phenomenal. I'll take that. Can we get a screenshot of that as it goes?
I'll work on that later. Yeah.
I'm only joking. Obviously, thank you very much. And there will be some big news breaking, guys, over the next day or two in terms of a certain show coming back. Keep your eyes out on X. There is a return date due next week, so we'll be delivering that. I'm guessing Ryan will be back Saturday for the Arsenal-Brentford watch-along. I won't be here because I'll be at the ground.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the next All Arsenal review show next Monday.
Yeah, and then obviously next Wednesday we'll both be here for the second leg.
And that is going to be massive.
I should
have brought you. Jamie Dodgers FC were missing. Do you know what? There's no Jamie Dodger about yesterday.
No Jamie this last night. So we'll save it for next week or semi-finals maybe if we get that far.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But thanks. Yeah, go on. Sorry. Obviously, thank you everyone in the chat today. Obviously, absolutely superb. Once again, it's great seeing you all on. You obviously contributed to a lot of stuff, and it's been really good in terms of what's been kind of discussed and the kind of stuff that you've been putting in there. We try and make sure we get it out for kind of debate. So thank you very much. Obviously, thank you very much to Ryan and Sparksy once again. We'll have Johnny Brooks back next week, which will be good. So I won't need to do it all on my own. And
We beat fucking Real Madrid. Have it. Good night.
Take it, Liam.